and welcome to Join Our Town. I'm your host, Kenitra Wallace, and today we have with us Ms. Selena Swartzfager. She is the Executive Director for the Mississippi Council of Economic Education. Thank you, Ms. Swartzfager, for joining us today.
Thanks so much for the invitation. I'm thrilled to be talking with you today.
Well, we're happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about the council and how it got started.
Okay. The Mississippi Council on Economic Education was created about 11 years ago. We are a nonprofit organization. We are affiliated with a national group called the Council for Economic Education, which is in New York. Prior to the creation of the council as it exists now, it was part of the Mississippi Economic Council. But at a point in time, they decided that we really needed to be a separate organization.
Okay, so tell us how you became involved with this agency.
Well, I am on my third career. So my first career was in business. My second career was teaching. I decided, I really have a passion for teaching. So I went back, became certified to teach at the high school level, and I was teaching personal finance at Clinton High School. I was active with the Mississippi Council as a teacher. And my predecessor was retiring. So she asked me one day, she said, "Selena, have you thought about applying for my job?" And I went, no, that's a lot of work. That's a big deal. 3.5 years later, here I am.
Wow.
So, yeah. But I love it, because even though I'm not in the classroom with the students anymore, I have the opportunity to reach so many more kids through what we do.
Tell us who you're reaching and how you're reaching the kids.
Okay, our mission is to provide financial literacy, economic literacy, and entrepreneurship literacy to teachers, kindergarten through 12th grade teachers in Mississippi. They can be public school, private school, parochial, homeschool. As long as they're in that K through 12 category, they're eligible to attend our professional development. Of course, with the end result being that those teachers are then able to take that information back to the classroom and help us create a workforce of tomorrow that's literate in all of those areas.
Okay. Now, I know we talked about one of your careers. You had a chance to teach in one of the school districts in the state of Mississippi. Do you find that our school districts as a whole are missing this piece as it relates to personal finance or economics in the school system?
Well, economics is a required course for high school graduation, starting with the class of 2012. Okay, so that's still kind of new, kind of a new development. So practically every child that graduates from high school in Mississippi will have had a semester of economics. So we're good there. As our teachers need to be literate in economics to teach it. So that's one of our missions, is to make sure that any teacher in the economics classroom is really good at what they do. Personal finance is an elective. So high schools are required to offer it, but students are not required to take it. So you have a cohort of students that are receiving a semester of financial literacy. Personal finance is what it's called. Now, I also will tell you that the offerings that we have are such that the teachers can incorporate economics and personal finance into whatever course they're teaching. One of our strong partners is the Mississippi Department of Education. So we work with them really on a daily basis. And there is a class called ICT2, which is a middle school class that has been redesigned to include a lot of personal finance. So the kids, a lot of them are getting it here and there, but not everybody's getting a full semester of that. I'll throw in entrepreneurship just because that is kind of the third leg of our stool, and that is truly an elective.
Okay, so do you see a trend where more and more educational institutions are implementing this class, or they see the need to implement this class as a requirement?
I think so. We're working right now and have been partners with Treasurer Lynn Fitch since she was elected, and that's one of her really strong areas of emphasis, is making sure that Mississippians are financially literate. And she has a new initiative called TEAM, where she's working to make sure that all high school students at least have some exposure to financial literacy. So, you know, we just have to keep taking one step at a time.
Right.
I tell people as long as we're moving forward and not backwards, then
You're progressing.
then I feel like we're meeting our mission.
So is there any group of people that you haven't had an opportunity to reach yet that you really, a part of your mission is to reach as far as financial literacy?
I would say that the opportunity is there for everyone that we're trying to reach. And the
Okay.
reason I say that is because our delivery method is through a network of college and university centers.
Okay.
So we have 7 centers now around the state.
Okay.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Delta State, Mississippi College, Millsaps College, Jackson State, and the University of Southern Miss.
Okay.
So those are obviously well spread out around the state, and we offer trainings at all of those locations. In addition to that, we offer them sometimes in locations that aren't at the centers. For example, we had a stock market game training for teachers in Moss Point. So, you know, we don't have a university there, but that's where it worked out well for us to do that, and the school district was very welcoming for us to come in and offer that personal finance / stock market game training at their location.
Tell us a little bit about that, the stock market game, and what
Yeah.
that consists of.
Most people have heard of it. They may not have participated in it, but they've heard of it. And it's an awesome program that shows children that have participated in the stock market game not only have an increase in personal finance test scores, but also in their math test scores. So students are put into teams, usually of 4 to 5 students per team, and they're given $100,000 in virtual funds that they then trade on the market. And the way it's set up is that the trades go through the same system. Well, I don't want to say the same system, but a system that's managed by the same company that manages the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
So this is real-time stuff, real-time stock prices. They can trade stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And then at the end of the semester, we do this every semester, we have winning teams that win cash prizes. In fact, our annual award ceremony will be May 1st, where we'll bring all of those kids, elementary, middle, and high school students with their teachers, to the Jackson area to celebrate their success.
So is this primarily just on the collegiate level, or is this secondary level?
This is, stock market game is 4th grade through 12th grade.
4th grade to 12th grade. Okay.
And there is an after-school program that the little kids could use.
Okay.
That's a fairly new program, and we haven't really had a lot of success with that just yet. But on an annual basis, we have about 6,000 students in Mississippi that participate in the stock market game.
Okay. So what if we had a teacher or a principal or administrator who right now does not have that opportunity available in their school, but they want to have that available to their students? What would they need to do to get that information?
All right, our website, which I know is being displayed at sometimes www.mscee.org, we list all of our professional development workshops on that site. And one really cool thing about what we do is that teachers don't pay, schools don't pay
Wow.
for this professional development, because we are funded by statewide businesses, grants, foundations, individual sponsors, so that there's really, we try to take away all of the barriers that a teacher or a school might have from being able to participate.
Oh, wonderful. Do you ever have need for volunteers to come work with you on any type of event or?
Yeah. So our volunteers are usually from companies or organizations that have provided sponsor dollars for our programs.
Okay.
But if there was someone out there that works for a company that doesn't already sponsor our events and they wanted to come check us out to see, what it is we do, we'd love to have them engaged. We have several events during the year that require volunteers. We have the Economics Challenge that just took place last week. That's where high school students from around the state come to a quiz bowl type competition and battle it out for the championship. We have a financial literacy challenge, which will actually be on Thursday of this next week. Middle school students from around the state come to battle it out for the championship. And then we have another event in the, I guess you'd say, wintertime in December, the International Economic Summit. And that actually takes quite a few volunteers.
Okay, so who actually facilitates your professional development? Do you do all of that, or tell us about your staff?
Okay, so I only have a staff of 2. Myself, I have a director of programming and a director of operations. So there are 3 of us. But we don't deliver the programming per se. At those centers that I talked about, that are at the colleges and universities, each one of them has a center director. They're a college level faculty member. And those are our primary sources of delivery. We also have a program called the Master Teacher of Economics program. And we have teachers that completed that that are very good at what they do, that we will also engage to offer some of our professional development.
Wonderful. So what would be something you would want to say to our young people who are just learning about finances? What would be something you want to share with them?
Well, there are a whole lot of mistakes you can make. And I know that because I made them when I was their age. However, I didn't have the opportunity like they have to participate in all of these awesome events. But you just have to keep your eyes open. You have to really evaluate these situations that come to you. One thing that I like to tell them is there is an economic way of thinking. And what that means is we all make choices every day. There are choices that we make, and there are going to be consequences of those choices.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and one way to kind of get them to understand what that means, I wrote an article for the Mississippi Business Journal. And the topic was being a movie star in Mississippi. Okay, so when Get On Up was filming here in town, my son and I signed up to be extras on that movie. And it was before college started back up. He's a college student. He's 20. And so we signed up, and they booked us, and we go to Thalia Mara Hall to be in the concert scene. And they were paying us, I think it was $8 an hour. Well, I had to take a vacation day to do that. And I kept thinking, I'm losing money because I make a little bit more than $8 an hour. My son, on the other hand, would have been sitting around on the couch at home watching TV. So when you're talking opportunity cost, for me, it was a day of vacation. It was having to make up my work, stay late for the rest of the days to make up what I had missed. For Ashton, his opportunity cost was that he didn't get to sleep late that day, And so he was making money that he would not have made otherwise. So that's just one example of that economic way of thinking about what am I giving up if I make this decision. If I go, my younger son, who money burns a hole in his pocket, he'll make $10, $15 doing chores around the house and automatically wants to go buy a video game. And then when I explain to him that he's got to save his money to buy that BMX bike, and he starts crying because he doesn't have any money, and I have to explain to him, well, Grayson, had you saved your $15 here and your $20 there, it would add up, and you would be able to buy that BMX bike that you want so badly. Getting a toy now versus getting a better toy later, doesn't matter how old they are, they get it. Right?
Absolutely.
The older one also, before he went to college, high school student, loved Sonic. Loved it. So he spent every spare penny he had going to Sonic, and that just, you can't save money when you do that.
Well, many of us have learned the the hard way
Yes.
about finances.
Yes.
So, but I want to thank you so much for joining with us today and sharing this information. Thank you for tuning in to Joy in Our Town. I'm Kenesha Wallace, your host.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.